Before the wire, a message from New York to San Francisco rode on horseback for weeks. In 1861, a single spark turned that journey into minutes, stitching coast to coast with invisible threads. The transcontinental telegraph rewrote distance, commerce, and war in a single breath. The idea began in the 1840s, when Samuel Morse proved a single line could carry letters across a room. By the 1850s, Hiram Sibley and Ezra Cornell, founders of Western Union, imagined a line that would span the continent. Congress passed the Pacific Telegraph Act of 1858, allocating $40,000 to the project and granting the right-of-way across federal lands. Engineers faced deserts, mountains, and hostile terrain. They erected 5,000 wooden poles, each spaced about 250 feet, and stretched roughly 2,600 miles of copper wire from Omaha to Carson City. The line crossed the Rocky Mountains at Fort Laramie, then leapt over the Sierra Nevada via a series of relay stations. By October 1861, the final splice at Fort Churchill completed the circuit. The moment the circuit closed, a single message, "What hath God wrought?" sent from San Francisco to New York announced the birth of a new national nervous system. Before the wire, a letter traveled the 600-mile distance in 3 to 4 weeks, riding on stagecoaches and Pony Express riders. The new telegraph turned that trek into a 10-minute sprint. On September 4, 1860, the first test message traveled from Omaha to Salt Lake City in under an hour, a feat that stunned skeptics. The most dramatic proof came on April 15, 1865, when news of President Lincoln's assassination raced from Washington to San Francisco in just 10 minutes, arriving before the first telegram could be typed on the West Coast. Traders used the speed to arbitrage grain prices. A Kansas wheat price of $1.20 per bushel could be matched to Chicago markets within minutes, erasing regional price gaps. The rapid flow of information also accelerated political campaigns. The 1860 presidential election results were known coast to coast before the first train could cross the plains. In a world where time equaled power, the telegraph became the ultimate equalizer. The telegraph turned the United States into a single market overnight. By 1865, Western Union handled over 1.5 million messages a year, generating $1.5 million in profit, equivalent to roughly $25 million today. Grain merchants in Kansas could watch Chicago futures in real time, adjusting shipments to capture the best price. The New York Stock Exchange installed a dedicated telegraph room in 1863, allowing brokers to receive ticker updates from the West Coast within minutes. This immediacy slashed the average price spread for wheat from 15 cents to under 2 cents per bushel. Railroad companies coordinated schedules across thousands of miles, reducing delays and increasing freight capacity by 20%. The federal government saved an estimated $3 million annually by using telegraph orders for military supplies instead of courier services. In short, the wire injected liquidity, reduced uncertainty, and forged a national economy that could react to news as fast as the signal traveled along copper strands. The Civil War turned the telegraph into a battlefield command center. General Ulysses S. Grant sent orders from Washington to his generals in the field via the line, cutting the time to issue directives from days to hours. At the Battle of Antietam in September 1862, Union commanders received real-time intelligence about Confederate troop movements, influencing the decision to press the attack. The line also served the Indian Wars. In 1868, the Army used telegraph stations along the Overland Trail to coordinate the rapid deployment of 5,000 troops to suppress the Sioux uprising after the Battle of Little Bighorn. Telegraph stations doubled as forts, with soldiers guarding the poles against sabotage. The speed of communication meant that supply trains could be rerouted within minutes, preventing shortages that had crippled earlier campaigns. In effect, the wire became the nervous system of a nation at war, transmitting orders, reports, and morale across thousands of miles in the blink of an eye. The transcontinental telegraph, finished on October 24, 1861, stretched roughly 1,900 miles from Omaha, Nebraska to Carson City, Nevada, and was supported by more than 3,000 wooden poles and 10,000 miles of copper wire. Its first transmission, Samuel Morse's famous Washington to California, cut the months-long wait for news down to a matter of minutes, reshaping politics, commerce, and the press. The line's success gave Western Union, under Hiram Sibley, the confidence to build a national network of 30,000 miles by 1875, and it introduced the centralized exchange that later became the telephone switchboards of AT&T's early system. Alexander Graham Bell, who patented the telephone in 1876, studied the telegraph's circuitry and deliberately reused the existing copper routes to carry voice, proving that one medium could serve many purposes. The packet switching principle of today's internet mirrors the telegraph's routing. Messages are broken into small units, sent along the fastest path, and reassembled at the destination. Morse code, the first digital language, was later adapted for early radio, the 1900-era teleprinter, and even the first computer modems. Although the original line was abandoned by 1900, historic markers and a handful of standing poles stilled the Nevada desert. Those silent remnants remind us that a single copper strand helped launch the invisible fiber optic web that now spans the globe. The transcontinental telegraph proved that a single spark could bind a continent. Next, we travel to the forgotten gold rush that vanished before the first claim was even filed. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a hidden chapter of America's past.